Hi, I'm Chloe and welcome back to my week 2 wrap up of 75 Booked. If you're new here, 75 Booked is a reading challenge that was created over on TikTok, and basically you have to read for 75 days. It's kind of about showing up consistently, and I'm hoping it will help me reach my 2026 reading goal. Week 2 felt very different to week 1. I think the novelty had now worn off and my week got a little bit busier, so I had to kind of fit in reading and be intentional about when I was reading around what I was doing. But I think I did that pretty well, and I thought we would talk about it today. So let's start with what I actually read this week. I read A Deal with the Devil, and that was on my Kindle. I absolutely loved this book. I needed something because I felt like I was going into a bit of a reading slump. I didn't want to push myself too hard. I wanted a nice romance, easy to read, and this book did everything that I needed for me. It was enemies to lovers, which I love that trope so much. He is her boss. I honestly loved it, and it definitely did the trick to get me out of my reading slumps. So I was very, very happy with that. I then also listened to the audiobook of Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy. It's only just been released and it was very high on my TBR, so I listened to the audiobook of that. I would not normally pick up this type of fiction. I'm not a huge fan of age gap in any way, shape or form. Don't really like the trope in books. And obviously in this she was a college student, and it was her teacher that was the adult. So yes, I did pick it up because it was obviously written by Jeanette McCurdy, who is in iCarly, and I was a huge fan growing up, so I honestly would read anything she put out. I read I'm Glad My Mum Died, which is her kind of biography, one that came out pretty soon afterwards, and I was just ready to give her fiction a go, so I went with that, and I think she really did make a bang moving into the fiction space. I think she's a phenomenal author, and I just absolutely loved the book, to be honest, and I'm gonna get myself a physical copy so that I have that as well. I thought it was really well written and I loved listening to it on audiobook. It was quite a short one, I think it was about 4.5 hours, so it didn't take me too long. But yeah, I really enjoyed listening to it. And finally, I started my third book of the week, which I didn't get to finish, however I have started it, and that is The Trees by Percival Everett. And I think I got to chapter 28, page 88. There we go. It was either chapter 28 or chapter 29. One of the two. But I got a good chunk of this done. I think I'm about 10% of the way through at the moment. So absolutely cannot wait to continue this one into next week. This is my book club pick of the month. So I need to get reading on this so that I'm all caught up for book club. So my reading actually became a lot less cozy this week. I was listening to audiobooks on my commute and also audiobooks when I was getting ready to go out to London for the day, because I knew I wouldn't have any other time to read on those days. I just needed to fit it in, and that was kind of the best way. So it was about kind of finding the time where I could fit in reading in any way, shape or form, and that really helped having the audiobook this week to get that reading in. But other days I was actually even waking up earlier to fit in a reading session just so that I could get it in before work and then be ready to get going with work for the day. As I said last week, morning reading made me feel a lot more productive. It was a lot easier to get my reading done in the morning. I felt a lot more productive. I felt a lot more happy when I'd done my reading, and it didn't feel like something that I was waiting to get done at the end of the day, because it felt like a bit of a pressure then. Whereas if I got it out of the way, it was already ticked off and I felt great and really productive going into the day. The audiobooks definitely saved me this week, because otherwise I would have failed this challenge. But we're still here, we're going strong, and I cannot wait for week 3. I only actually did one reading session this week in the evening. All the rest were in the morning or during the day when I had time. So I kind of had to reframe that evening session as being like cozy, get in bed, have some jelly cats around me, have my book, like get really cozy, get really warm, put my pajamas on, and that really helped framing it that way, because it meant that I was a lot more inclined to do it. So I'm definitely going to keep kind of reframing evening reading as that now, because I did actually quite enjoy that session in the end. So hopefully I'll be able to do some more kind of evening sessions next week and survive them. We're going to keep our fingers crossed. But one thing I do need to get better at is reading outside of my bed. That is technically supposed to be one of the rules, that one of the sessions is supposed to be done out of your bed. However, that doesn't happen very often for me. So we're taking that rule with a pinch of salt. I am hoping next week that I'm going to be able to do some reading sessions elsewhere, maybe go out to a cafe or something, who knows, we will see. But hopefully I can get some reading done out of my bed next week. That's the aim anyway, we'll see what happens. I think this reading challenge has been really good so far, because reading was starting to become a bit of a chore to me, and I think because I felt so guilty for not reading, I was not wanting to then pick up my book, and it felt like a chore, it felt like something I had to do. Whereas at the moment it's starting to become that form of kind of rest again. I would kind of use the time to just lay and just read my book, and I was really enjoying doing that. So I think that's the really good thing about this challenge. It's starting to bring my love for reading back, because I'm reading so much and because I have that kind of time to dedicate to it, and I'm giving myself that uninterrupted time. It's really helping with my love for it, and yeah, I can't wait to see how that improves over the next kind of few weeks. My aim for next week is to be even more flexible with the challenge. I want to hopefully choose out another audiobook so that when I am in the office and I have my commute or I have busy days, I can just listen to my audiobook and also get my reading in quite an easy way. So I think that's my aim, kind of choose another audiobook and use that to be able to fit in so that I don't fail any days. If you are doing 75 booked or even trying to read a little bit more, let me know in the comments, let me know what you're reading, and I will see you for week 3.